Welcome to this week's edition of Black Authors Matter TV, where we interview the latest movers and shakers in the African American literary community. You'll meet some old friends, discover new ones, and stay abreast of the latest book developments around the country and even the world. So sit back and relax for the next 2 hours with Black Authors Matter TV co-hosts Gwen Richardson and Dr. Rhonda Lawson.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Black Authors Matter TV. I'm Gwen Richardson, your host for tonight, along with my co-host,
Dr. Rhonda Lawson. Good evening, everyone.
And we were in Atlanta this weekend. We got to see a lot of people we know, some we've never met. We were at the National Book Club Conference, and it was a very well done event. That was our first time being there. I had our literary themed t-shirts, and Rhonda had t-shirts and her books. I didn't take books, but we met a lot of people. It was very, very interesting meeting the book club, all those book clubs. Rhonda, do you want to give like 30 seconds of feedback?
Sure.
About the weekend?
Sure. Just as Gwen said, it was a very well done event. And it's amazing that this event has been around for 21 years and the book clubs flock out. It's like a huge reunion for them. Not only do they get to meet authors, but they get to network. And what I really loved was the gala where many of the book clubs were awarded for community service, for support. And I feel like it made everybody feel seen. They do a lot to support authors, but it's really wonderful when the author community gives back the way that this event gave back. So congratulations to Curtis for a job well done.
Yes, and Curtis Bunn, who's the brainchild behind the event from day one, will be on the show in a couple of weeks, I think. So while we were there, we booked him because we want to hear about his backstory, about what his inspiration was and why he started it and how he's able to keep it going for all these years. 21 years is a long time. Our event is 18 years old, the National Black Book Festival, and that's a long time to keep something going.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing going. And you have to keep it fresh. You have to innovate. But people are looking for stability when they're looking for events to go to. So we're glad about that. And we have only 2 slots left for the National Black Book Festival. So if you want to sign up, we have 2 spots left. So don't delay. Anyway, we are bringing on our first guest, and we're going to be giving away a book tonight. So our first guest has a book that is a finalist for the American Fiction Awards. And I have a copy. He sent me my own copy that he autographed.
Nice.
And I thought that was very nice. In fact, I was going to give it away, but he autographed it to me, so that wouldn't really work. So when I saw that it was autographed to me, I said, I'm going to keep it and read it. So the book is called The Chinaberry Tree, and we're waiting for him to come on screen. There he is. So I appreciate the book, but we heard about this from the information that went out with the American Fiction Awards and the people who were finalists for the awards. And so we decided to have you on the show. And so welcome, Jerome Saintjones, to Black Authors Matter TV. And you need to unmute.
All right. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Oh, great. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, now where are you joining us from?
I'm in Huntsville, Alabama.
Oh, Huntsville, Alabama.
Wonderful.
You know, we have a Huntsville, Texas, too. So, and
Right.
It's not that far. It's where what school? Sam Houston State University is in Huntsville.
Okay.
And also a big prison complex. So I don't know if they're side by side or not.
Well, on a brighter note,
That's what it,
Actually a pretty huge author boom going on in Huntsville. There are quite a few authors there. Dr.
mm,
LaTracy is there with Black Authors Rock. We have
okay.
Mark Lacey, who's also in
Yeah, I know
Huntsville.
Mark. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. He's Mark Lacey.
he's been at it a long time, I think.
Yes, and
absolutely.
yeah, we've known him a long time too. Probably
Okay.
since he got started.
Wow.
He's been on the
Wow.
show a couple of times over the
Now,
years.
both of you native to Houston?
No, neither
No,
one of us are native to Houston.
okay.
I live in Houston now, but
Okay.
I was raised, not born, but raised in Newport News, Virginia.
Okay.
I actually was born in San
Right. And I
Antonio
grew up in
and moved around.
I yeah, I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I
Oh,
live in the
nice.
DMV now.
One of my favorite cities.
Oh, okay. All right. So you, in your description of your efforts to write this book, you mentioned that you've worked on it off and on for 30 years. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's kind of embarrassing, but
No,
if you
no. We've had people who work
right,
now. I think 30 is the longest period of time I've heard somebody say.
right.
But we've had people
Yeah.
say they were 20, 25 years working on their
Yeah,
concepts.
I mean, life happens. Sometimes it's a
Mhm.
lot of research involved. There are
Exactly.
lots of reasons why it takes a while to write a book. So I don't
Right.
want you to think that it's embarrassing at all.
Exactly. And it wasn't that I wasn't writing, but I was in public relations for an
Okay.
HBCU, and I was writing all the time, just not for myself, you know.
Okay.
I
Okay.
understand
I just
that.
off and on,
I'm
and
in
I was
public
like,
relations, so I understand.
right, and I was in a small shop, and so I was doing a whole lot of things, almost on call all the time. So it just, like you said, life gets in the way.
Yeah, well, the fact that when you finally did it, you became a finalist for the American Fiction Awards. That's great. A lot of people can't say that about their books. Well, most people, a lot of people, labor in the vineyards for many years and never get real recognition.
Well,
So,
well, thanks. I'm honored by that, but it makes you feel a little bit better to know that your efforts might be paying off somewhere.
well,
Absolutely. Well,
at least you did it. Some people just talk about writing
That's
right.
books
true.
and
That's true.
they never pull the trigger on
That's true.
Well, tell us about this book that took 30 years to write.
Well, let's see, the Chatterberry tree, it's sort of like if you open it up, when it opens up, you get into the stream of consciousness of Arnold Giovanni, who's I guess you can call him the protagonist, and he's a white professor at a historically black college. And he has this fascination with black culture and especially black women. He has this thing where he's always into black conversations. He's eavesdropping on people. The Chatterberry Tree is a local bar.
it.
And
Okay.
he's like a regular in that bar. So he's always picking up information and whatnot. And this
Mhm.
one day, the day that I call Judgment Day, he's kind of like found out. Some of the members in the bar are kind of like upset with him. And that's what presents him in this opening tirade. He's going through all of the agony that he's feeling, having all these black eyes looking at him and beginning to question him. And so that's how it opens up. If you can kind of think, if you remember Chaucer with the Canterbury Tales,
Yes.
he had about 2 dozen different characters, and each character had their own
Hmm.
and their own story. This is kind of like a modern day African American version of that. We get to see all of the things that Arnold Giovanni has been putting in that journal. And we call it sort of like a little vignettes of colonization. So we go through those different tales of 24 different characters showing the Black experiences from 24 different views. And so that's pretty much kind of like a gist of it without
Yeah, you
giving
don't
it
want to give
your
away
ending.
spoilers.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Right. So basically the white professor at the school um is kind of privy to each of the stories that you present in the book.
Right, right. These are stories that he's been kind of like recording. Because he has this journal that he's always writing on. People are kind of loose, they're drinking and they're talking and they're telling their backgrounds and whatnot, and he scribbles it around. if they ask him what's he doing, he said, I'm just taking some notes to, for my classes or, that kind of little thing. But uh, one day it finally just reaches ahead, and they kind of like confront him about it.
So
Does
this,
he?
oh,
Go ahead, Gwen.
well, I wanted to know if the setting, where is it? What's the setting for the
It's
book?
a small black college town. It could,
Okay,
there are a lot of those throughout the
there
whole
are. So
HBCU area.
you don't name it. You don't name the state or the
Well,
city.
I give it a
You give a
fictional name called
fictional name.
Ebonia.
Okay. So and what state is it in? Do you give that?
There's a hint that it could be Alabama, but it could really be anywhere because since almost most of the HBCUs are in the South anyways, but it could be almost in any southern state.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, Ron.
And of
Well,
course,
I was.
you know that I'm a Tuskegee graduate, but it's not all about Tuskegee in particular. But I am a Tuskegee graduate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'm just wondering, each of the stories is told from his perspective. So is he kind of
Right.
injecting his opinion as he
Right.
tells the stories?
Exactly. He captures it, but there's a little tinge to a lot of the different storytelling. He captures a lot, but there's a lot of times there isn't really true perspective. He misses some things. In some situations, he might over sexualize some things and add some little things that really aren't there. But we kind of like find that out later on in the story.
That sounds
Okay.
actually interesting.
It does. It sounds different.
Well,
Hmm.
thanks.
So what time period, what era is it?
It kind of goes different periods because it goes from you could say maybe late 60s or early 70s on up through the 80s because they're from different characters, so we get different aspects of their lives, different periods and whatnot. But it can go from maybe mid 60s on up to maybe the early 90s, really.
Okay. Do you
Yes.
have a copy of the book with you?
Yes. Uh-huh. Sure do. Yep. Got it.
Yeah, hold it up.
Oh, hold it
And
up.
and I
Okay.
have my copy as well that you
All
sent.
right.
Now
Okay.
that looks like a paperback, is it?
Yeah, this is the paperback version.
Okay, so it's in hardcover too.
Hardcover too, right.
Mhm.
Right.
So that's
And I see you have a little badge on it. It says the book won awards.
But that's the finalist decal from the Book Fest American Fiction Association. Right. So I put that in.
Wonderful.
And there's another one called the International Impact Book Award. You might have heard of that too, International
Yes.
Mhm.
Impact. So I have that one, but I haven't received a seal yet. But I have that one as well.
Oh, okay. Now, were you a finalist or a winner in that for that
A
one?
winner, a winner in that.
What category?
It was African American fiction.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's
All
see,
right.
you wait 30 years and then you break out with an award-winning book. That's
Well, how about that? Yeah.
Well, I tell people all the time that Ta-Nehisi Coates, when he wrote The Water Dancer, he mentioned that that book took him 10 years to write.
Wow.
And once the book was finally published, it received a lot of accolades. So
Right.
sometimes it's okay to not rush through a book. I think these days there are so many authors out there who want to be able to say they wrote 7 books in 2 years,
Right.
or they've written 50 books and they've only been published for 5 years, because
Right.
they're rushing through their books. So
Right.
sometimes when you take your time and really make the story tell the story the way it should be told,
Right.
good things come. And I think your book is a great example of that,
Well,
that
thank you.
you took your time writing this book and you're getting great accolades for it.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm kind of in it for the long haul, so we'll see. We'll see where
Yes.
it goes. Right.
okay. And when you take a long time to write a book, um, if it's historical, you can make that work
Yeah.
because you're not having to. A lot of times when you're writing contemporary fiction, uh, if you take too long to write the story, the technology changes. So if you're mentioning technology in the book,
Right.
then you have to make adjustments. But if it's historical, it's already set in the past. And sounds like you may have started like it might have been contemporary when you started, but since it
Right.
took 30 years, now it's historical.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You can get a lot of experiences in 30 years. You know, you get a lot of things happen. You meet a lot of people. You learn, you know, you deal with a whole lot of different, you know, attitudes and conversations. You pick up a whole lot of things over that period of time. So it kind of seasons you.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
they're in different, that's at least, well, maybe 1.5 generations. You
Right.
know, it's the way people view things and experience things changes
Right.
over time during that time.
Now,
And
both of you are authors, right? So
we are.
how was it for your first novel? What was it like?
Well, I didn't write a novel for,
Okay.
well, my first, I have a variety of books. So they're all different genres. I have two novels that are mysteries. I have 6 children's books. I have 2 books that have economic background with them on economic topics. I have one book about how to write a book. I have a book about a spiritual book that's Bible based. 21 of Satan's schemes, tricks, and devices that took me 2 years of studying the Bible. So I write based on what, oh, and my one that has gotten the most attention is one that I do a new issue of every January, and that's about going to college debt free with scholarships.
Okay.
So that one got me an NAACP Image Award nomination,
Oh,
and
wow.
I've
Okay.
been publishing it for 10 years, and then my daughter and I wrote a book together. So it's 14 girls. So I have a variety of genres, and my novels both took me 5 years apiece to write, and the second one's a sequel. So
Okay.
it fiction takes me longer to write. I'm better at children's books are somewhat easy. It's more the illustrations. You know, you have to get a good illustrator.
Right.
But I have 15 books altogether,
Well, that's
and I'm working
fantastic.
on another. I'm hoping to have another one next year. That's my plan, is to release it next year.
Right.
So Rhonda can give you her biography in terms of her books that she's published.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I'm a 23-time published author. I have a variety of novels, novellas. I have workbooks because I also teach writing. And then I also have my novels. So I'm a fiction writer at heart. So most of my full-length books are going to be fiction books. But like I said, I also I'm also a person who likes to teach writing. So I have workbooks um, on helping you to get publicity for your work. I have a workbook on helping you to improve your craft of writing. And my latest workbook is called Mastering the Game, 101 Secrets to the Literary Game. So I'm kind of that publicist and literary strategist. I want to help people to not only write their books, but to write their books well.
Right. Okay, that's great. So you two are veterans, huh?
Yeah,
Well, we've been
I would
around for a little
say
while.
we've been in
Great.
the book
That's
industry for 25 years,
right.
both
Now,
of us.
what are the two of you find most disheartening about the
No, we're
industry,
supposed to be
especially
interviewing you, Mr.
self-publishing?
Yeah,
Jerome.
this is
Okay.
supposed to be
So I'm
about
trying to
you.
get some feedback, trying to understand, trying to get some feedback. You know, I'm public relations.
I know. I told you I'm in public relations too, and sometimes you can't help but slip
Right.
into that mode.
Yeah, but disheartening. I don't really have anything that's been disheartening about publishing my books. I, you know,
Well,
I I didn't seek to. I didn't know I was going to be a published author when I first started. And when I did my first book in January of 2008, that's the one. It has an economic uh, theme.
Right.
I thought that was it. I got my first published book, and that's it. And I never even imagined I would have 15 books. So, because I'm around it so much, and I work with other authors promoting their books, and we have this show every week, and we're involved in so many different things. And I'm national coordinator for a major book event, the National Black Book Festival, and Rhonda's the literary correspondent for the event. So we're so busy, we don't really have time to be disheartened. But I don't want to speak for Rhonda because but for me, I'm so busy. I focus on my goals, my plans, my strategies. That's what I focus on.
Okay.
Oh, so you want me to answer the question? I was going. The only thing I find disheartening about this industry is the number of people who only treat writing like a side hustle or just a way to make some money, and they don't put any heart or time into their craft. They couldn't name 5 trailblazers in the literary industry, but they want to be best-selling authors. So I think that's the only thing I find disheartening, and that's coming from the bottom of my heart. That's the only thing I find disheartening about the literary industry.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have. Now that you mentioned that, with having so many authors at the book festival, and many of them are first time authors, and they only have one book, and they in their minds they kind of compare themselves to people who are veterans that have been writing and publishing for 50, have 50 books and that. So
Right.
it's a long-term uh journey. Is not a one-off. If you want to be a flash in the pan, then okay. But as Rhonda said and alluded to, authors who don't read, that bothers me, because you can't write a book if you haven't read some books to even know what a book is supposed to look like. The formula, the principles for writing a book, if you don't read. And that's something that can be bothersome. But for me personally, I just tend to focus on my goals and my plans and my strategies. And I'm always planning. I'm always thinking about the future. And sometimes I make a turn. Like I could have one book in mind that I'm writing, and then something else comes to my mind, and I might switch gears for a minute. But I'm always thinking about the future. So,
But was number 2 difficult? Book number
no,
2 was the most
no,
difficult?
book number 2 was my novel. And so that took 5 years. So it wasn't difficult. I wrote 2 chapters and then put it in my drawer and forgot about it for 3 years. And then I went back and said, you know what? Maybe I'll write this book. Let me go back and look at these 2 chapters I wrote. Then I read them and I said, this is pretty good. Let me keep going. So it took me 2 more years after that. But after that, the books kind of was like rapid succession, maybe 2 a year. I might skip a year, but after that, you get to be an old hand at it after a while.
I see. So the both of you are like Walter Mosley, huh?
Oh no. Well, I won't claim that.
Yeah, I won't claim that either. But now, speaking of second books, what's going on with you?
Yes.
I haven't really given it a lot of thought yet, because
Okay.
I guess because this one has taken so long, I'm not quite sure. I haven't taken it where I think it needs to go yet. So I haven't given much thought to that second one yet, but I think it's in me, but I just don't think I'm ready for it just yet.
Yeah. So are you empty? Did you pour everything into this first book? Or do you think you have some
No,
more
well,
stories in it?
I guess not in terms of the creativity, but just the energy, just wanting to know whether I would ever get it done, because I'm like 66 now. So I figured I didn't have time to try to gamble with maybe traditional publishing and looking for agents. And, I just felt I just have time for, all that. So I had to maybe try to go another route, because I kind of looked at all of it as kind of like a little gamble. And so,
Did you self-publish this book?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you put some effort into the way it looks,
Right.
because a lot of people don't, and it doesn't look self-published.
Well,
So
good.
that is a testament
That's
to
good.
you wanting to have a professional product.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Because I
Yeah.
guess if you had known, I wouldn't be here, huh?
No, that's not true. Because what got our attention was the book was a finalist,
Thanks.
and it's also historical fiction,
Okay.
and that's my favorite genre. So,
Okay.
if it sounds interesting, it catches my attention, and then
Okay.
I'll take a look and investigate and see if
All
we
right.
can get the person on.
Okay.
So you don't know yet if you're going to continue on. This might be your body of work that
I think I will do another one, but it's just that
you're
it's
thinking
just
about
not yet.
topics.
Not yet.
Okay, now this book, when did this book come out?
Actually, it was the publication date was April of this year.
Okay, I knew it was
Right.
this year. But so
Oh, that's actually awesome that the book was only published a couple of months ago and you've already
Right.
received the awards for it and
Yeah.
you're getting feedback on the book.
Yeah.
What kind of reviews have you received?
Pretty good. I got a really good view from I guess it's called Book Life. In Reedsy, I think they're kind of connected there.
Yes.
Reedsy. And so
okay.
it was pretty good, review there. And I got another one that was like a 5 star. I've forgotten my little list and whatnot, but they've been
You
pretty
can't get
good.
much better than that.
Huh?
No,
Well, thanks. Well, thanks.
no. So the what do you want people to get from this story? I
Well,
know it's a novel,
I
but
kind of hope they are like me because I love books and like I'm the one I collect a lot of them and I haven't been able to read as much as I really want to. So I hope it just doesn't end up in a collection that people really don't dive into it and maybe get what they can pull out of it. Because I think it has a lot of lessons that people can find out about how people have lived their lives and how they've come to terms with the happenings around them and whatnot. So I think it has a lot to offer people and men, women, and they have all these universal themes of love. But one good thing about it, it's not a it's definitely an adult book. If
okay.
you dive into one of the couple of the chapters, you'll know it's it's an adult book, but I think it is well worth the read.
Okay. Now,
And well, we are running out
we
of
are
time,
we
unfortunately. We only have a couple minutes left.
Okay.
Yeah, can you tell us where we can find the book?
Yeah, I think that the easiest route is through Amazon. We get the hard copies and the paperbacks and I think the
Hmm.
Kindle version.
did you
And
do the audio for it? Did you select
I'm
audio as
working
an
on
option?
trying to do that audio part because I know a lot of people prefer that now,
Yeah,
especially
like me.
going to the gym and that kind of thing. And right. So I'm working on that. Any
Yeah.
suggestions? No?
I
No.
I
It,
talked with a narrator last night, and she did a phenomenal job with the book that she narrated. I think the key to a good audiobook is a good narrator. It may be a good story, but if that narrator can't deliver it well,
Hmm.
then I have been known to take a book back just because the narration was so bad.
Wow.
So yeah, just be very careful and don't be afraid of auditioning people.
Okay. Now, does it have to cost you an arm and a leg?
Well, I will tell you, it takes a lot to narrate a book. Just because the book might be 3 or 4 hours total with the finish hours, you also have to think about the hours that they put in to get
Yeah.
that perfect finished product.
Right.
And then you have to look at the editing that goes along with it. So talking with this narrator I talked to last night, just gave me a really huge appreciation for what
Mhm.
narrators go through to make your book sound the best it can.
Okay.
but
Okay.
audiobooks are more and more popular.
Right.
I'm not an audiobook listener,
Really?
but Rhonda is.
Okay.
So I may be in the future, but I just hadn't. I tried it once, and it maybe it was the book. But I'm not against trying it now. So,
Right.
um, but it's just not something. My thing is I'd
Okay.
rather have a book. In fact, used to have the Kindle. I still have it somewhere, but a couple of years ago, I went back to the physical books. I
Right.
really prefer the physical book.
Right.
So and books aren't going anywhere anytime soon. So
Yeah.
people there's a core group, a percentage of the population that reads books,
Thank God.
and they're going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Mr. St.
Thank
Jones,
you.
for being on
And
Black
both of
Authors
you.
Matter
Thank
TV,
you. I
and
really appreciate it.
congratulations on the success of your book.
Well, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. Enjoyed talking with both of you.
And
Okay.
same here. You take care, and best wishes to you.
Thanks very much.
Okay, good
Okay.
night.
Good night.
Okay, so we said we were going to be giving a book away, and the book we're giving away is the book of our next guest, Phyllis Dixon, and her book is Something in the Water. And we're going to be giving away this copy at the end of the interview. Although I might need to do it now because she might say the answer in the interview and mess it up. So it's based on trivia. And so, Phyllis, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV, or welcome back, I should say, to Black Authors Matter TV.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna do it now because it's really part of the storyline, and um, so here's the trivia for those who like to win books when we give them away. Hoping for to make a fresh start, a California family moves to a small town in what state? So if you name the state, the first person to name the state will win this book, Something in the Water. And it's Phyllis. It just came out a week ago.
That's right, July 29th.
Yeah. So how's everything?
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yay, thank you,
And,
thank you.
and this is book number. I know you had some other books, but traditionally published, I think this is book number 3. Is that right?
That's right, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And that's really great. And all of your books the topics are different.
Right, yeah, they're
Yeah.
not series, they're each
Series.
standalone.
But that's good that you've been able to get signed with standalone books. A lot of the publishers like series.
Well, that's right. And also that's easier to get a following too with a series.
Hmm.
Because once somebody reads one, then they kind of pick up on the second one and the third one. So that's might be in my future, but I hadn't done it yet.
Okay. And Phyllis and I were together as speakers in March at it was a book club that had been in existence for a long time, like since the 60s. And the original people who started it have all passed on, but the next group kept it going. So they had us both there as featured speakers for their event. And so that was fun and rewarding. And
Yes,
we had both spoken to the group before, but at other different times. When we spoke to them originally, it wasn't the same time.
right. Well, as you know, I used to own a bookstore in Houston, and so the ladies were very good supporters of the bookstore. They were always coming in. Like you said, spoke to the group several years ago. And so they were just very good supporters of the group,
Yeah, and I
of
think
the bookstore, I
it's
mean.
the Bennett Brooks
Right. Literary
Literary
Society.
Society. That's what it's
Yes.
called. Mhm.
Yes.
And they was very nice, and very well attended. They had like a
Hmm.
luncheon. It's very well attended. So tell us about let's see who won the book. It's hard to say.
Susanna Perkins.
Suzetta Perkins won. She said it first. Okay, Suzetta, I don't think you've ever won a book before. So you need to DM us on our the National Black Book Festival's page where you
Uh-oh,
won.
wait. Nope, no. Yes, it was
It
her.
was
I had to
Suzetta.
look at the I had to look at the timestamps, but yes, it was Suzetta.
Yeah, because it was a race between Curtis Stevenson, who he wins books a lot, and Suzetta, but she won. So DM us your mailing address so we can send you your copy of Something in the Water. So the answer is Texas. Is they moved, the California family moved to a small town in Texas.
Funny
So
fact, your book was on the Kensington table at the
Okay.
National Club Conference. And when we saw the book, it wasn't time because they said you can't get the books until 9 a.m. We went to it was 8:45. We went to the restroom. We came back. The table was wiped clean, so we didn't get a chance to get your book.
well,
Oh, well,
no,
that's a good thing.
no, I did. This is the one I'm giving away, the one I got at the National
Okay.
Book
Oh, wait
Conference.
a minute.
Because remember, it was
Wait,
the
Gwen
lady.
barely got that book. There
I
was one
barely
book
got
sitting
it.
on the table, and a lady who had a bunch of books was about to grab it, and she was nice enough to let Gwen have it. So that's how she was able to get that book.
That's true. Because the lady who was gonna grab it had like 10 books in her hand. I'm like, okay, I didn't get one book. So she so Kensington had 2 or 3 tables of,
Right.
and they were giving them away for free to the people who,
Right.
so
Right.
of all, I mean, all kinds of books, all kinds of titles, just, some of everybody. So it was good. So tell us about your the storyline for the book. We know that a California family moves to a small town in Texas, but uh,
Right.
then what happened?
Well, Billy Jordan and her family are having some challenges in her home state of California. Her job goes away. Their son has opioid addiction, and so they think maybe they'll do better and have a fresh start in Texas, a small town where her husband is from, and he gets a professorship at an HBCU. But instead of joining lower prices, sweet tea, they end up running into a water crisis, corruption, and life or death choices. So just some more family drama, but told against the backdrop of a water crisis.
Hmm. So were you inspired by, and I can't remember the town in Michigan that had the water issue for a long time. They might still have the water issue. Um, but were you inspired by that, or was it
Flint,
just other Flint?
The
Yes,
Flint.
Flint, Michigan.
right.
Yes.
Well, yes. Well, Flint was in the news quite a bit. And then also, I live in Memphis. And so we hear a lot about Mississippi. And Jackson, Mississippi was also in the news quite a bit a few years ago. But one of the interesting things in doing the research for this book, those stories are not that uncommon. There are a lot of places that have water issues, frequent boil water notices.
Right.
In a previous life, I worked for the government and traveled quite a bit. And there were 2 places that we went that I would not drink the water. Nobody would drink the water. And one of them was Jackson, Mississippi. So even when you check into the hotel, they would give you bottled water. And the other one was
Mhm.
Washington, D.C., where they said don't drink the water. So I say it's very common, more common than we know. And another surprising fact that I
Yeah.
learned while see, yeah, I know. While I was working on this book, you're in Texas. Are you familiar with Sand Branch?
No.
It's
A
it's in
lot of
Dallas
small
County.
towns in Texas.
It,
We got 1,000 small towns in
well, it's
Texas.
about 12 miles from downtown Dallas, and
Okay.
it started out as a freedmen's community, and it has never had running water to this day.
Oh,
Has
wow.
never had running water. And at the time, they didn't mind, they just want to be left alone, they away from Jim Crow and all of that, and they had well water, and so they were fine. But since that time, primarily like in the 50s and 60s, industrial plants were built and there was dumping there, so their wells have become contaminated. And so it's really a very tragic story if you read it, if you once you learn about it and you think, how can this be happening in the United States, number one, and right outside Dallas? So, like I said, and then
Mm.
there are other areas like in Arizona and other smaller rural areas as well. So I was surprised to learn that this is more common than we know.
Hmm.
It's really sad. I think we sometimes take what we think are the little things for granted. You know, I might not drink the running water here in the DC area, but when I want to turn on the faucet, the water comes on and it comes through clear.
Right,
When I take a shower, the water comes on and it comes through clear. But not those are little things that we can take for granted. But there are
right,
some people who don't have that. So
right.
I like stories like this.
And it disproportionately falls on Black and brown people because, as we just mentioned, Flint, majority Black
Hmm.
city, Jackson, Mississippi, majority Black city, Sand Branch, all Black town. So it's just another form of environmental injustice.
Yeah, I would think is
Right.
also linked to poverty as well.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Um,
Well, that's what it is. I mean, people who are powerless.
right.
Um, you know, it's not going to happen in a well-to-do area because those people know what to do to advocate for themselves. But people who are powerless, who don't know how to advocate for themselves, or don't even know that they can advocate for themselves, it's easier to take advantage of those communities.
Right, right. And even if you know, I mean, there's a lot of instances I can think of some things that are going on in Memphis where people know to advocate. But again, like you just said, it takes money. You know,
Mm,
you got to file lawsuits, you got to do all these different things, and it takes money.
Hmm.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, to
And so
get
Billy
social
Jordan in the
justice.
story, that's one of the things because she actually, her background, she's a radio talk show host and community advocate. So that's why she's sort of used to sticking up for the small guy.
Okay, and then she has a platform too to get the word out if she's a radio
Right.
host.
Hmm.
Um, but it is expensive to get justice. It's not free, mainly because you have to hire a lawyer. And unless you are, you know, with one of those groups that do pro bono work, and a lot of times you can't depend on that long term. They might just, and people don't might not even know that. And then also, in order to even ask for a lawyer, you have to be somewhat literate yourself. You have to be able to write a letter or an email or something. And a lot of people, they just don't have that skill set to even pursue justice.
Right. Well, a lot of this work is done by groups like NAACP, Sierra Club. One of the groups I discovered was Young, Gifted, and Green. So a lot of this work is done by nonprofit groups. Southern Poverty Law Center. Yeah.
Mhm. I haven't heard of Young Gifted and Green.
Well, I hadn't either. I just
Okay.
found them when I was working on this book. And then, and actually, when I was looking at their bio, they got started out of the Flint crisis. And as I was researching it, I said, oh, wow, she's from Memphis. And then as I learned some more about her, I said, oh, wow, she lives in Memphis. So I actually got in touch with her, and she co-hosted my book launch in Memphis. And she's
Oh,
a
that's
wealth of
wonderful.
information, but she was on President Biden's Environmental Justice Committee and just a lot of other, she's on the Tennessee State Conservation Board. And so that's another thing that's been interesting to me. So I just did an event in Milwaukee on Friday, and there was a young lady there that is associated with the Milwaukee. I know I'm going to mess the name up, but it's something to do with water conservation. So there are a lot of young Black people that are in this space. And so that was one thing that was very encouraging to me.
I
Oh,
saw a picture that you posted, but I don't
mm,
know which one for your book launch. But I don't
Okay,
know
yes,
what city you were in at the time. But
right.
yeah, you're the word is getting out.
Well, I hope so.
well, you actually kind of led me into the question that I was going to ask. I wanted to know about the research that was involved with this story because it's one thing just to have an interest to write a story that centers on a certain subject, but what type of research did you have to do for this?
Well, it was a lot of looking at articles, and also government reports as well. There's an author's note in the back of the book that has some factual information that has to do with water. This is actually two story ideas that I had. As I mentioned, the family is dealing with their son's opioid addiction. So that really was the genesis of the story that I was working on. And then in 2022, we had an ice storm in Memphis, and I was without water for 9 days. Now, somewhere like Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Chicago, that wouldn't have done anything. But Memphis, we were shut down. And so that was one of the things that got me thinking about, you know, made me more sensitive to the subject. And then about that same time is when Jackson, Mississippi was in the news for the same thing. Water theirs wasn't even related to a storm. I think the storm just exacerbated it, but they had always had um, water issues, feces in the street. Jackson has always had water issues. So those were the kind of the things that got me thinking about it. And actually, the author's note, I could have written a whole book on that, but of course I had to pare it down. So that's one of the things when you're doing research, you can kind of get off into a tangent
Oh
because it's
man,
so
go
interesting.
way down a rabbit hole with research.
Yes,
Like, oh, this is interesting. This is cool. This is
exactly,
great. The next thing you know, you're
exactly,
trying to put it all in there.
exactly. So, and the other thing that I wanted to say about that is with this book, it just kind of reinforces. I'll say my belief in God's timing, because when I started writing this book, um, climate change has been in the news for a while, but it's really, really coming to the forefront now. So a lot of the things that happen in this book, have because of climate change. And then also now that we have administration that is cutting back government protections on water, again, a lot of the things that they're doing, Epstein, all of that takes the headlines, but there's a lot of things. EPA has really just been gutted. So there's a lot of protections that are going away. And so those two issues also, climate change and the government lack of, or cutting back, I should say, of government protections, make this a very timely book.
Well, I'll tell you this coming we're in hurricane season, believe it or not. And this hurricane season is really going to tell the story because of so many of these government cutbacks. We're going to really see what happens.
Right. In a lot of agencies that you've never heard of. And so you
Hmm.
think, oh, too much government. We don't need that. We don't need that. But what happens, because I used to work for the government, when something goes wrong, then that's the first thing people say, well, where was, this agency? Why didn't the government do this? Or we need this, we need that.
Hmm.
But, people don't think about that.
No. Well, I'm hoping that because I'm in Houston where we get hurricanes. Normally it's like once every 10 years, but where we get a bad one. We had one last year. So I hope we don't get any this year. So, and I know I don't want it to happen to anybody. So I'm hoping that the waters in the Caribbean and Atlantic are not that warm that where they are generating the storms. Normally around now we would have been hearing about some storms, but so far I have to keep my fingers crossed. So far we haven't had any this season yet. So you
Right.
just never
Well,
know.
and one thing is strange because I'm actually in Milwaukee now, which is my hometown. And so one of the things that you would never expect to feel the impact of in Milwaukee is wildfires. But the wildfires from Canada are affecting us. Some people have to wear masks. The air quality is very, very bad. It looks like it's cloudy outside or foggy, and it's the smoke
Yeah.
from the wildfires. So all of this is, climate change is real.
Mm. Well, it affects uh a lot of times we don't even know what the effects are going to be until things happen. And we need to be prepared to respond when these things happen. So
Right.
Well,
And
it
that
sounds like
requires caution.
your book has is going has and will and is going to start a lot of conversations with climate change, the water crisis, opioid crisis. So do you see yourself being able to I guess, present to many of the advocacy groups in those respective areas?
Yes, that was not my overall intent is to entertain. So I want people to be, entertained. But then I also want to educate. So that would be lovely for us to learn while we're being entertained. And another thing that I learned while working on this, I didn't even know there was such a genre as climate fiction. And so
Oh,
there's climate fiction awards. And actually, Erin
what?
Brockovich, remember that movie?
Yes.
So
Yes.
she has a Brockovich report and all this, following. And so Something in the Water is listed as one of 5 eco books to read this summer.
Wow.
Wonderful. That's great. I've seen Aaron Brockovich about 20 times. Not necessarily from beginning to end, but there's certain
Right,
scenes in there that Julia Roberts did an excellent job in her role.
right,
And the supporting cast was good too.
right.
And the
And I would say
guy
there's some similarities with that and Something in the Water.
the guy who played her boyfriend, uh, I didn't know that was the guy from Batman. He looked so different in that movie that I didn't realize it until
Hmm.
how you look up actors, you look up the cast of something, then you see the
Hmm.
different things they've been in. So he did a good job of being a completely different type of character.
A
And
jerk.
well, a biker who's,
Yeah,
not really doesn't have any ambition really. Uh, and then she comes into her own where she's
right.
kind of been overlooked. So the whole that it was a very well done movie, and one of the good ones that you can watch over and over. Well, I do
Hmm.
anyway.
Yeah, I do too.
So that's good about the eco fiction. You never know. I mean, this is my first time hearing about that.
Hmm. Yeah, there's awards and um,
Well, I didn't
it's a
even know
good.
it was a category. So
Yeah.
that's the one
Now
that
most of them are um, maybe on the fantasy end or dystopian end, but it
okay.
is a category. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, sometimes if you're in a category that doesn't have a lot of books, it allows your book to rise to the top quicker.
Hmm.
It's not a huge category like some of the other huge ones like romance or
Right.
or it's not a big category like that. So Something in the Water is, how are your reviews? Because it just came out a week ago. Have you been checking your reviews, or
I have not.
you haven't? Do you
I
check?
don't
Are
want.
you one of those people that don't want to know what their reviews say?
Mm-mm. It for after a while I'll look, but for
Okay.
now I don't. And one of the things also is it just seems like there's not a lot. So that's one of the things when I look at other authors and it seems like their first day out and they got 200 reviews. And I'm like, how do they do that? So,
Right.
They send out, their people send out a lot of advanced reading copies. That's to
mhm,
to reviewers and just people. That's how avid readers. That's how they're able to get that many, or pre-orders. Like
mhm,
people will do pre-orders, so as soon as the book drops, people get it, and then or some people time they get it earlier than the release date. So
mhm.
that's kind of sort of how that happens.
But no, I don't read them for a while.
Yeah. So now this is book 3, traditionally published. So are you working on the book 4?
I am, but it's not going to come out until 2027.
Okay.
Oh, so you're
Well,
giving yourself some time. I like that.
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, also they take a year for them to come out. So
Hmm.
even when they're finished and everything. So is yours finished, or are you still working on
Still working on it.
it? Okay. And so what's this topic for this one? The theme for your next book?
I'm not going to say. I'll just say that it takes place in Memphis and it has to do with music.
Okay. All right. Oh,
That's
that's
right. Keep us
okay.
guessing, Phyllis.
That's fair. So where do you hope to take your writing career? Are you one of the people who wants to do a book every year, every other year? You want to keep that going, or have you decided you just kind of playing it by ear?
Well, one of the things, they say be careful what you ask for. So of course I had wanted a book deal, so I got a book deal, but writing a book every year is a lot of work. So maybe I'll
Yes.
hopefully can cut it back to every other year, but then still not necessarily lose your audience. But then the other thing that is a goal of mine, which probably is everybody's goal, is to see my words on screen. My first book under my book deal, Intermission, which was about a book singing group. I don't know if anybody watches Beyond the Gates, but the storyline in the Beyond the Gates, the
The
singing
articulate.
group. Yes, I said, man, that's my story, and that's happened to me before. With Down Home Blues, what's it, Queen Sugar. That seemed a
Yes.
lot like my story. So I know I have good ideas. I don't know Oprah, and I think I gotta get to somebody like that. So that's also one of my goals is to see my
Well,
books
Phyllis,
on
you don't have
screen.
Oprah on speed dial? Like they
I
always tell
do
us every time.
not.
Look, every time somebody, when you mention your book, somebody says you ought to call Oprah and have her turn it into a movie, or
As
like
if,
like it's
as
that
if,
easy. Like I
as
just have her
if.
on speed dial, and if I did
Exactly.
have her on speed dial, I guess I just didn't think about calling her. I just needed you to tell
Exactly.
me that.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
and I think my books would be a good fit for a lifetime because it's
Okay.
Yeah.
it's at heart is family drama.
Mm.
So that's kind of one of my goals.
Yeah. You know, sometimes it depends on the agent that you get. If they're focusing on, the movie, the scripts and all of that. And then they'll ask for a treatment, which is like a summation of the script. And it's a process, but there are people out there. There's a lot of material now just on all
Hmm.
these different streaming services. It's
Right.
a lot of series and movies being made. So one never knows. And even if
Uh,
you get option, just getting option, you get paid, even if they don't make your story into a movie. So
Right.
yeah.
Hmm.
Mm. So anyway, Phyllis, thank you so much for being a guest on Black Authors Matter TV.
Oh wow, our time's up already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
goes by fast.
Well,
I guess we need to tell
yeah.
people where they can get your book.
It is available anywhere books are sold, and it is in book form and audio.
Okay, all right. So, but it's
Well, I'll
only
be I'll be looking for the audio book because I'm the audio book girly of the crew.
yeah, and Suzetta Perkins won the copy of your book. So, do you know
Okay,
Suzetta?
I do.
You do. Okay. So she
Hmm.
won it. And so, Suzetta, the book will be on its way to you. So, thanks so much, Phyllis. Have a great night, and
You
we'll be
too.
seeing you soon on the writing trail out there in literary land.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
Okay.
you. Have a wonderful evening. It was great talking with you.
All right, you too.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so yeah, the time goes by fast. It's like sometimes in the beginning it might seem slow, and then it speeds up, and then you're at the end. So our next guest is uh, okay. So I want to just do this comment by the Social Book Club. Um, they watch the show almost every week. And they said there are so many authors now getting recognition because of social media. They would recommend a yearly release. And like Phyllis said, it's easier said than done unless you are just a prolific writer and you got lots and lots of stories to tell and you can
Well, it's not
wrap.
just about being a prolific writer, though. It's also about having time. There are a lot of talented writers out there, but when you have a day job and you have family responsibilities and you're still trying to promote your last book, it's very hard to fit in writing time. or even thinking time. You might have a great story, but you have to think about it and actually write it. And sometimes that's pretty tough for some people who have a million other things going on.
That's true. And you have to sleep sometime,
Yeah.
So okay. Well, our next guest is a one of the authors under the Black Odyssey Media umbrella. And she's been on the show once before. And she's going to be at the National Black Book Festival. It's one of the participating authors. So, Robbi Renee, welcome back to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you
Yeah.
for being here again.
Yes, I love it. I'm excited about the book fest.
Well, we are too. It's coming up rapidly. At first it's slow, and then it's just like whoosh, it's coming. And that's the way it happens.
Yes.
So, I was looking up this book, this new book, Summer's Echo.
Mm-hmm.
It's your latest book. I
Yes.
didn't realize you had so many books. I, I
Yes,
went
this
on
is my
Amazon.
16th book, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Wow,
on
okay, 16.
yeah, and you know how you select pub sorting by pub date,
Uh-huh.
and Summer's Echo didn't come up as the last book. Some other books, a whole bunch of other books. And then I had to do a Google and look up Robbi Renee's latest book
Yes.
because um it wouldn't come up on
Oh,
Amazon.
that's interesting that it
It
would come
is.
up. I mean, it just came
Yeah,
out on the 29th, but I would imagine it would be
It should be
you
on
could
there
feel
already.
that's what I
Yeah.
thought. I mean, it's there, but you have to. It's not in the order when you ask for the pub
Oh.
date. By pub date, it didn't come up in the first row or the second row of
Well, you're
books.
gonna have to talk to the people and see what's going
Yeah,
on.
see
I
what's going
know.
on.
I'm like, wait a minute, we got to get that fixed.
Yeah, that's true because you want people to be able to find your new
Yeah,
book and get to
absolutely.
access it. Yeah.
Absolutely. But
So
you were surprised at the number you saw, huh?
yeah, I just didn't know you had that many books. I thought you got your start with Black Odyssey Media,
I did.
and okay, but you had started before then.
I did. I published my first book in December of 2020.
Okay, so if
Yes.
you can describe yourself as, I know you write romance, but are you in like a subgenre of romance?
I like to say I'm in my what I've created as my own subgenre is more of a grown and sexy romance because my characters are all well into their 40s. Which we don't always see a lot of in romance. I think we're starting to see more of it now, but we don't always see a lot of older characters who are dealing with like real life situations with kids and jobs and divorces or widows or all those things. So I would say it's definitely in the Black romance space, but more of a grown and sexy kind of genre where it's like we can be 40-ish and still want to find love and do all the things that the 20 somethings do, just as a 40-year-old. So your choices are a little bit different.
Well, they should
I'm
be.
out of my 40s, but I would like to think that I'm not too old to have a little romance and sexiness about me.
Exactly. I know I'm knocking on 50's door. That's next year. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to this last few minutes of my 40s.
Yeah,
Girl, I don't even miss my 40s. I'm having fun in my 50s.
it
That's what
goes
I hear.
by
Everybody tells me
fast.
that.
It goes by fast.
Yes.
All of it goes by fast. So,
Yes.
but yeah, I think romance should be enjoyed and explored at all ages, even
Yeah.
even
I
into the
agree.
senior years and beyond. You're
I
not, as
agree.
long as you're above ground, you should be able to enjoy some romance.
Listen. As long as you have breath in your body, as my
Yeah,
grandma
you
used
should
to
be able
say.
to. Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
So, do you have a copy of Summer's Echo?
I do. It's so pretty. It
Uh,
is probably my favorite. cover to date
It
because it
is
is
pretty. I like the
literally
way
a
you
piece
can
of
see the
art.
picture through the title.
Yes, it is literally like a piece of art. So this is Summer's Echo, my newest baby. That came out July 29th. Yes.
It reminds me of some of the art that Rhonda that you were talking about when we went to Atlanta. You were saying people had the it's like abstract, but
Mm-hmm.
it's on a canvas where it's
Yeah.
it's raised, it's not
Yes.
flat on the canvas. And they
Yes.
had
Yeah,
some
it's
really nice
textured.
art there. Textured, that's right. That's the word.
Texture, yeah, and the colors are so vibrant, it just kind of pops. So when I first saw this cover, I was like, "Yep, that's it. Give it to me. I want it." That's the one. That is the one.
I'm
So
telling you, while we're talking about art, I keep running across these little reels on Instagram and TikTok where they show you an easy way to make art. I'm gonna make my own canvas art one of these days. Did you see the guy? All he did was take some twigs and he dipped them in paint, and then
Yep.
he smacked the canvas, and that was the art.
That was the art.
what did it how did it look?
It
It's in the
actually
eye
was
of the
kind of
beholder,
cool.
right? So if you're the creator,
Yeah.
That's
you can
true.
call it art.
Creative. That's true. Creatives can call
Yeah.
something art, and it can be expensive art too.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
if but I haven't seen. I'm not in the art, creative. Rhonda's more creative one than me. I don't. I'm good with words. I'm good with planning. I'm good
Yes.
with administration, managing, but I don't have any creativity in as far as painting,
Me either.
graphics, any of that.
I
I
don't
hire
either. It just
people for
doesn't look
that.
hard. I think I can do it.
But you do it, Rhonda. You do it on your.
I think you can do
I
it.
saw her. I was sitting beside her at the conference, and she was doing it right on her laptop. I was watching you, Rhonda.
Just doodling, huh?
I can't, but I probably could if I tried, but it would look amateurish, and I don't know if I would want to put my name behind it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's one of those
Yeah.
things. So I hire professionals that are good at that, and they can
Same.
whip it out quickly, and all I have to do is sign off on it. Okay, button. Good.
There you go.
Change here, and that's all I want to do. So, is Summer's Echo a play on words? That's one thing I wanted to know. Is her
Summer
name
Echo.
Summer or is it summertime?
Both. So the main female
Okay,
character's name is Summer.
okay.
It starts at a summer camp. So this takes you on a journey with Summer, and the male character's name is Echo. So Summer's Echo. So it's
I like that.
definitely a play on words. It takes you from them meeting at summer camp the summer before their senior year of high school, all the way through their mid 30s. So it kind of takes you on this journey. It feels very nostalgic, really takes you back to that kind of first love that got away kind of story. That young love that maybe could have blossomed into something else, but some things happened. So yes, it's definitely a play on words. Summer Night and Echo Abara are the main characters. So Summer's Echo. He is her Echo.
Okay.
What year, what time period is this taking place?
So the summer camp is in 2005.
Okay.
Then it fast forwards to 2019. So it jumps around between 2005 and 2019 when they are older and kind of get reacquainted at a mutual friend's wedding. So
I cannot
that's when some
believe
things starts to develop.
I cannot believe 2005 was 20 years ago.
Yes,
Yeah,
What
it
is
was.
going on?
yes. 20
Time
years ago.
time is marching on.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yep. So it definitely it's a time hop a little bit in the book, but it's necessary to pull you into knowing what happened to them in the past to understand how they get to where they go in the future.
Right. So
Yeah.
was it a bit of a challenge to be able to go from time period to time period? You're in 2005, and next
Yeah.
thing you know, you're switching to 2019. Did you have to kind of watch yourself, or maybe find yourself writing in one time period when you were supposed to be in the other one?
Absolutely. And I had to get to the point where I was like, okay, I only can write about 2005 in one sitting. Like I can't jump from 2005 to 2019 because even when you think about things as simple as we didn't have an iPad necessarily in 2019 of what
Right.
we see, or 2005. We had iPods for people to listen to music, or
Yes.
people don't listen to music on their iPods, they listen to it on their phones now, so it's very
I remember
different.
having an iPod.
Yeah, I had an iPod with the little circle on it and all those kind of things.
Uh,
So even just making sure the research of what was really going on, and it's crazy to think about, you have to question what was going on in 2005, but like you said, that's been 20 years ago.
Mhm.
I
hmm
really had to like go and research what was the technology in 2005 that
Right.
18-year-olds, 17 and 18-year-olds would have had access to.
I
We did.
remember when I
Yeah.
remember when we had beepers, and we just thought we were doing something with a beeper.
Oh, I wanted a pager so bad, and my mother would not let me get one. She's
And
like,
as
who is beeping you?
our parents said that, beepers reminded them of the drug dealers, because the
Yes,
drug dealers had beepers. So they
yes,
didn't want us to have
that's
pagers,
right.
because they said that's what
In her
the drug
opinion,
dealers have, but they want us looking like the
that's
drug
right. So
dealers.
she's like, no, ma'am, who? If they can't call this house, they won't be able to reach you.
Yeah, I gave my daughter an iPod when she was 9. She's
Mm-hmm.
29.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
That
that's
makes total sense, right?
yeah,
I
that
remember
was
having an
that was it.
iPod at work. I remember being
Mhm.
at work and it's sitting on my desk and I have the wired headphones. This is
Yeah.
what we had, a Bluetooth headphones, like the wired headphones attached to the little iPod. So it was a challenge jumping around a bit.
Yeah.
So I really had to like focus on 2005 and then kind of fill in the gaps with the pieces from 2019 to
Yeah,
the.
it's amazing how the technology went quickly to the phone,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
where everything's on the phone now.
Yeah.
Um, and that
It's
happened
like
fairly
it just happened.
quickly. Yeah, yeah. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
whoosh, everything was on the phone.
That's right.
Um, because the earlier phones didn't have cameras, or the cameras they had weren't very good.
No.
So,
Mm-mm.
but I guess
Mm-mm.
Apple led the way with that, I
It
guess,
really did.
in terms of
It really
just
did.
putting everything on the phone. There
Mm-hmm.
used to be a graphic that would circulate on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, that had, these are the devices that you used to have, and it had, it had a telephone, it had a typewriter, it had a calculator, it had all this thing, and
Mm-hmm.
then on the other side was your phone.
Your phone.
All
It's
the
a
things that
one-stop
no
shop.
longer were necessary,
hmm
your phone. So so we don't know where it's going from here. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if people will, just start transferring thoughts from your brain to another person. I was wondering, what's the next step?
I don't want to
Where's it
know.
gonna go next? But these robots are,
Yeah.
they're scary in terms of their human abilities, or the ability that their movements look human.
Mm-hmm.
The ones,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know where that's going to go either. None of us really knows, but and then AI, that's a whole nother thing. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I like the fact that you played on, it's a play on words.
Mm-hmm.
It's summertime and it's summer. Now, I've never met anyone named Echo. So how did you come up with the name Echo for her uh significant
So his
other?
his parents are from Nigeria, and came to the States when he was about 2 or 3 weeks old. So he was born in Nigeria, but came to the States when he was, less than a month old. So that Echo is actually a Nigerian name that I literally
Mm,
looked it up and was just like, give me some boy names, with parents from Nigeria, and Echo was one of those names, which I was like, oh, I've never heard that as a name,
Was
and
it
I
spelled
loved
the
it.
same? Was it
It's
spelled the
spelled the
same?
same, ECHO.
Oh,
And it made, so there was another option to spell it with a K, so ECKO.
okay.
okay.
But I went with just the regular ECHO. So it came up, even his last name, Abara, came up on a website where I just did some research of names because I always research names. I want to be able to understand what they mean because I think names have meaning and purpose. So I always do
Right.
research for the names of my characters. And when I was like Summer, because originally this book was titled Treasure.
Okay.
Totally different.
Right. It is. I like Summer's Echo better.
Yes, I like Summer that girl a whole lot better. So when I got his name, I'm like, well, what could her name be? And I was like, Summer. That makes total sense. It's summertime. So it just kind of all came together because I can't even remember. I think her name was originally Grayson.
Oh,
But I like the fact that you put a lot of thought into names because I remember when I wrote my first book, I didn't think about it. I was just naming characters.
Hmm.
And it didn't even occur to me until my publisher at the time said, do you know that all of your names start with the same letter? I was like, no,
Yep. Yeah.
I
And I
had
have
to go. I
started.
went through and changed everybody's names. I did not realize I had done that.
Yeah. And that makes it hard. I think, although I love a good, series of brothers with the same, the name starts with the same letter. As a writer, that's hard because you start to confuse
Right.
those people.
yeah,
You're
I
like,
think
is
you
it
will.
Jeremy? Is it Jason?
Now, Rhonda, just the names just come to me. I don't research the names
Mhm.
unless it's something like you said he was from Nigeria. So if it
Right.
was that was the case, then yes, if it's something out of the ordinary,
Hmm.
where it's some kind of historical name, which actually my first novel does have a historical tribal
Hmm.
name for the Limba tribe people. It was just an African
Yeah.
tribe. But just ordinary people, I just say, okay, what am I gonna name it? Okay. And I just do it.
Yeah.
I don't
I
do a lot of
do
research on
I
names.
do like to think through the character. Like I feel like the character has to fit the name for me. Like one of
Okay.
my books, the male character's name is King, and I'm like, you cannot have a name like King and just be a regular old man. Like,
That's true.
But maybe they were trying to speak it into existence.
right, right.
Or wimpy. So
Yeah, right. So you have to, so I kind of think about it that way, but I also think about, have I used these names before? Are they names that I see show up a lot in a lot of books? I think about that as well. Um, but I do a lot of thought, I put a lot of thought, probably too much into the names.
it's hard to get a unique name. I mean, there's some names that are really very common,
Hmm.
and now that we can look up names globally, then
Yes,
that expands the commonality of the name.
absolutely.
So, um, you have been with Black Odyssey Media, I think, since the beginning, since they
This is my
launched early
second
on.
book. This is my
Okay.
second book with Black Odyssey Media. I have one more on my agreement with them, but it hasn't been like right at the very beginning, but I was there a little bit early on. So this is the second work, and it has been an amazing experience with working with that group because you still feel like you have some creative control.
Okay.
Whereas I've heard, clearly I don't know, with bigger publishing companies, you don't have as much creative control. And I'm used to having all the creative control because I've self-published the majority of my books. So
Mhm.
I can't really let the control go like I probably should. But you
It
know, that
is hard to let go, especially when you've been doing it yourself.
yeah, it's hard to let go when you like, okay, I chose the narrator, I choose the book cover, I choose the everything, and then for somebody else to do that, that's a hard pill to swallow. But the team really does give you that autonomy to still have some level, and not all of it, but some level of creative control. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Now, what are
Awesome.
your the other books that you've written? What are the
With Black
things?
Odyssey Media or just in
No,
general?
no,
Just
just
in general.
in
In
general,
general,
your
so
body of work.
my first book, I can go all the way back. My very first book, and it's right here. I'll show it to you.
Oh,
It's a
okay,
little pamphlet. It's a little pamphlet. Look,
okay.
it's so little it doesn't even have words on the side. This is my first little short
Tablet.
story. It's called French Kiss Christmas, and
Okay.
it's a Christmas book that I wrote with a series of other women. It was eight of us that wrote in a holiday series. We all wrote different books. So that was my very, very first book, which I always joke with people, especially people that I coach. I'm like, this 65 words almost killed me 5 years ago. I can write 65 words in a couple hours. Like it's nothing now, but 5 years ago it almost killed me. But that was my first book, and then that kind of transitioned to my first series, which was the Pretty Shattered series. There's three books in that series. Pretty Shattered Soul, Pretty Shattered Heart, and Pretty Shattered Mind. That really follows two cousins and a friend through their kind of some situations that they dealt with. Um, I have two books, A Beautiful Surprise, A Beautiful Distraction. I'm trying not to do series too much anymore because my brain just doesn't work like that. It's hard for me to be like, and now I go to the second book. Somebody's Wife is probably my most popular book that I self-published, and then Somebody's Husband was my first book that I published with Black Odyssey Media. Yeah, in
Okay.
December of 2024.
So they didn't bring somebody's wife as part of it.
No, no. So Somebody's Husband is completely different. You don't see any of the same characters. It's not
Okay.
the same storyline. It is still about a couple and some things that happen. Second chance. Both of them are second chance types of romance. One after divorce, and then Somebody's Husband is after the loss of a spouse. So they're still kind of following that second chance, but they're two totally separate books. None of the
Okay.
characters are the same. Yep.
So would you consider yourself a hybrid author? Maybe you'll do some stuff on your own, some stuff with your publisher.
Yeah, I'm definitely a hybrid author, which is purposeful because I still like to self-publish. I want to be able to release when I kind of feel like releasing.
Yeah.
With a publisher, people always say, "Oh my God, are you so excited about Summer's Echo?" And I'm like, I'm excited because I don't even remember it because I wrote it almost a year ago. Like, but most people don't realize that with the publisher, you're writing like eight
Line.
to
I
12
tell people that all
months.
the time. I'm like,
Yeah,
there are some trade-offs. When you decide that you want to be traditionally published, you're not going to have your book published when you say it needs to be published.
exactly.
You've got to stand in line. You
Exactly.
may not even have control over what your book cover is going to look like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
so
have been lucky to be able to kind of say yay or nay to some book covers, but I get it. Like there are some pieces of Summer's Echo that I had to change because the publisher was like, this is feeling like more of a young adult potentially book versus
right.
because it does go back to them being 18 and, all of those kind of things. So I had to move around some things significantly in the book so that it wouldn't be categorized that way. If I
Hmm.
was self-publishing, I would have been like, no, I like it like it is. And that's
Right.
what we're about to do. But I couldn't do that. But I read it because I was like, oh shoot. I I think the last time I touched that book was in September last year, I think. Maybe the last time it went through editing was like September or October of last year. So I literally don't even remember the story because I'm working on the next book that I got to turn in December that won't come out to 2027. So that year in advance
Right.
that's difficult. So yes, I would say I am a hybrid because I still want to publish kind of when I'm moved to tell a story. I don't want to have to wait a year. I want to be able to kind of drop it when I choose. So yeah, I'll continue to be a hybrid, I think.
Yeah, that is a benefit. One of the benefits of self-publishing, you can publish a book when you want to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you want to do one book every 5 years, or the 5 books in 1 year, you can,
Mm-hmm.
or 10.
Yeah.
Some people are doing a book a month.
Oh my God.
So
And I don't know
people are
how.
really
I'm like,
writing. I don't know either, but
teach me the game because I can't do
but
that.
some people just have a lot of stories, and
Yeah.
they just and
Yeah.
they do it. Most of the people who are doing that are doing it full time. They're
Yeah,
full-time
yeah.
writers.
And I just stepped into my authorship full time just a month ago.
Well,
So
congratulations
thank
on
you.
that.
This is a very new world for me because I had a full time job and writing was kind of my side hustle. Now writing and writing coaching is 100% of what I do. So maybe I will get to that point where I can, churn out a book a little bit faster, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna get there. I don't-
Well, you don't need to rush yourself. You go with your pace,
yeah,
not what
yeah,
you think everybody else is doing. Because
yeah.
their book might not be well written as yours. You don't know.
And it does. It takes some time, and then the writing coaching actually it is picking up a bit faster than what I anticipated. So even balancing that with
Hmm.
writing my own books while helping others write their books.
Right.
I gotta balance that. So I'm
And
taking my time. I'm not rushing
and
it at
it is difficult because you will find yourself either concentrating more on your clients and less
all.
on
Mhm.
yourself, or vice
Yep.
versa. So
Yep.
it's sometimes hard to do both. I do a lot of coaching as well,
Mm,
and when you're trying to make sure you're giving quality time to
that's
your
right.
clients, and then you find yourself putting yourself on the back burner, and you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I haven't written a book in like 10 years. What's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. I had to say the month of July, I was like, okay, everybody, I am Robbi Renee in the month of July.
Yes.
Like, I am not Stacy. I am Robbi Renee in the month of July. And I had to focus on writing Robbi Renee because everything else was kind of, to your point, getting in the way of me finishing deadlines. Like I'm on deadlines and I have to write. So I'm in that space of where I'm trying to figure out how to balance that now.
Yeah. And if any of Rhonda's clients are watching, I can vouch for her doing work. I don't know how she was. She was working. We were sitting at our vendor table. She was working. And when we went to the room, I was ready to go to sleep.
She was still working.
I'm a sleeper, so it didn't
Like
bother
I
me.
gotta get it done. I'm the type of person. If I'm sitting at my vending table, I did the same thing in Indiana. If there's nobody around, there's nobody coming up to the table. I'm on my computer working on a press release, doing a promo. I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I like to take every bit of time I can to be, you know,
Yes, talking to a client. She was sitting on my left, so we were sitting at the table, and I would say something around this. She's got her bud in the other ear on the phone talking to somebody, but I didn't even know she
You
was. So
didn't even
anyway,
know she
she's
was.
constantly working.
You gotta listen, you
She's
gotta maximize
constantly
all your
working.
time.
Yeah.
exactly.
So Robbie, show us a copy of the book one more time.
Yes.
And what was the release date? Was it last Tuesday or today?
It was July 29th.
Okay, it was last
So
Tuesday.
last Tuesday, yeah. So July 29th, it's on paperback, ebook, and audio. And the audio is, if you're an audiobook lover, is my favorite people. Wesley Sharon and Winston James are the narrators of the audiobook. Love them both. So I've listened to it
Wonderful.
twice already.
Oh,
Oh, that's great. And
yes.
so we do have your link in the chat. So please, y'all, click the link, order this book.
Yes.
Let's get this book out there. It's only a week old.
It's only a
Right.
week old. It's only, and it is doing very well. So for those of you who have already downloaded it, purchased it, all the things, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will have autographed copies at the National Black Book Fest in Houston. So definitely
Okay.
come see me. I will have autographed copies. I always have little goodies at book events. So you have to come, you got to come to the table to get a goodie.
And one of the viewers said something about, I can't find the comment now, but she said she was 55 and she appreciated having more mature characters in.
Yes, yes. I have an author that I'm working with. She's in my coaching camp, and her characters are in their mid 50s.
Okay.
And I was like, yes, girl, you got to write this book. Because there are folks out there looking for books about those characters. So I'm excited for her.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for being a guest on the show.
Of
And
course.
congratulations on your book release. And we will
Thank
see you
you.
in
You
October.
will see. Yes, I'll see you both in October. I'm looking forward to it.
Looking
Okay.
forward to meeting you in
You.
person.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye bye.
Okay. Well, before we bring on our final guest, Rhonda, did you have anything to interject at all about anything?
No, but I will say if you are in the Philadelphia area, I, I will be at the Independent Book Festival on Saturday at the Philadelphia Convention Center, and I would love to see you there.
Okay. So yeah, you decided to go
Yes, I
make it a
decided to
family
go.
trip.
Yeah, we're gonna make it a family trip.
It's a short distance, so I mean, relatively speaking. So,
Right.
that's good. Okay, well, our final guest is new to the show. And before I say her name, I want her to tell me what it is because it could either be Sade, like the singer, or it could be
Nope,
Sadie.
just like the
Or
singer.
okay, so it's Sade, like the singer.
Yes,
Okay, and the last name or the second name that you go by is
it's
that Rena
it's
or
pronounced Renee.
Renee?
Sade Renee.
Yes.
Sade
All
Renee.
right.
The
I love
Well,
backstory on that is my grandmother. That's how she sounded it out by spelling it Rena and not the other way. So that's what.
okay, okay. Well, uh, Sade Renee, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you.
And you're a romance author, but you write in a variety of subgenres. So, tell us about how you decided you wanted to not necessarily be in one lane, you wanted to be in multiple lanes with the romance.
I think it stems from me being a reader of all genres. Like, obviously, I enjoy romance, but I love thrillers. I love fantasy. I love horror. So it kind of just makes sense for me to just write whatever story is coming to mind. Obviously, to be a career author, you kind of have to narrow it in. But I don't always do what I'm supposed to do. So, so there you go.
So
what
when I first contacted you, you asked me about because you write is it interracial romance or what was it that you asked me about?
Interracial romance.
Okay, because we have lots of interracial romance authors. We've had a lot of them on the show. So, but if the author is African American or if the book has an African American theme, we have them on the show. So, so 'cause
I just know that
we
some
want people to know that there are multiple genres that we write in, that we aren't all writing books for an African American studies program,
yeah,
or not everything is urban,
yeah.
So, and there's so many people writing so many different kinds of books.
yeah,
So, go ahead.
well, no, I was just going to ask, what is your reason for writing your particular genre? Why did you choose to particularly focus on interracial romance?
So I date outside my race, so I'm just writing my lived experience. But I don't only write interracial, I write African American romance as well. When I started writing, I started with African American romance. Those books are no longer published because those were my first books, and they are no one can read them. No
Well, you
one
know,
can
but
read
that's
them. So
growth
they
to realize that they're not what you wanted them to be.
now I do intend to rewrite them because those were the characters that kind of, brought me into this space. But I started with African American, and I was invited to write in a project where the requirement was that it had to be interracial. And so I wrote one. The what is the word? The response that I got from readers was crazy. I just kept writing in the genre, and again, it made sense because I was writing my lived experience. And before I knew it, I just kind of had a career writing multicultural romance.
So in your books, are all the females Black, and the males can be any race?
Yes, yes. Primarily, I do have one book where it's a white lead. The guy is Hispanic, and I'll probably have other races throughout because diversity is very important to me, and my life is very diverse. So I write books and characters based on people that I love in my life. And so, but primarily Black female characters, and then the guy, he can be whatever race he tells me he is when I'm writing. Okay.
He's whatever he tells you he is. I love that.
Whether you believe it or not, they tell you.
Yep, your characters do talk to you. They tell you where they want to go, what they want to do, what they're about to say.
They sure do.
So how is the response to your work in terms of I mean, have you noticed a particular response from Black women versus women of other races, or just have you noticed a difference in the response to your work?
Yes, but it depends on what the reader is looking for. So you have a demographic of Black readers that only wants to read African American romance, which is why I made the comment, because a lot of times with mediums that are set for Black authors, those readers are only interested in books that feature all Black characters. And so I just wanted to be respectful of that. I haven't personally received a whole lot of like negative backlash or anything like that. Most of my readers are Black women that are either in interracial relationships themselves, or they just really don't care the racial dynamic of the story. They just want a good story.
A good
I do
story.
have a lot of readers that are not African American women as well, that's of different races and different ages. So for the most part, I've had a pretty good experience. I just know that by being in reader spaces and listening to what they want, I know that there is a divide for some readers who only want to read Black authors who write all Black characters.
Okay. So what would you say is the difference in an interracial romance book versus the all Black romance book, or just other romance?
Or is there a difference?
Or is there a difference?
There's definitely a difference because you have, I mean, they're people, so that's the same, and I'm writing them, so that's the same. But it's a cultural difference from writing all African American characters. There's certain things that we say to each other. There's certain things that we do down to familial lines, and then with multicultural and or interracial, I'm taking into consideration that a white character or a Spanish character is not going to have the same experience as my Black female character. So there is a difference. I don't try to write my characters where it's like they're blatantly another race. I just write the characters as they come to me. I actually get from readers in reviews a lot that I don't know. She says this person is white, but everybody read like POC to me, and I mean I'm POC, so I just I just write how the words come out of my mouth. But I definitely do think there's a difference between Black books and then books with interracial characters, just because there is a cultural difference.
Okay. So do you write the cultural differences from your own experience? Do you have to do research, or you do have to do research? Okay.
I do a lot of research. If I'm writing in an identity that is not my own, I am doing research. I feel like because most of media is white facing, we don't have to do as much research because it's like right there. We've lived it. So I don't have to do research on that unless it's something specific like white serial killers or something like that. Like I don't have to do anything extra with those characters. But when I'm writing like Mexican characters or like I just finished writing a Native American character, I know only what we've been taught. So I had to go and deep dive into trying not to just go with the usual five that we know. There's so many other tribes of people. So I had to do a lot of research to make sure that I'm representing their culture in the right way.
Well, I was talking with an author recently, and she had a variety of characters of different nationalities. So what she did was actually find sensitivity readers just to make sure that she didn't go off into stereotypes, that the characters were actually true to life,
Yes.
and that they weren't that she wasn't insulting or insensitive in certain areas. Do you find yourself doing that sometimes
All
as
the
well
time.
with your characters?
All the time. Every time. I used to be the author to think because I'm a person of color, I know what it's like to be misrepresented, so I wouldn't do it. And then I wrote
Mhm.
something years ago and unintentionally caused harm. Thankfully, I had people in my circle that could read the characters and say, "Hey, we wouldn't really say this; we would say this instead." So I definitely reach out to people either in my circle or reach out to people that are in the reader space that I may not have talked to before, but I'll at least reach out to see if they can read and make sure I'm not being harmful.
Okay,
That's great.
one of our viewers said, "What's your recent book?"
Say it again.
What is your most recent book? She's being introduced to you for the first time, so she's
My
into
most
a good
recent
story.
is it's a book called Dario De Luca. It is a mafia romance, interracial, black female character, Italian mafia guy. She is the daughter of a mayor and a youth advocate, and then obviously he shoots people for a living. So, and it's an arranged marriage romance.
Oh, okay. Now,
Mm.
do you have any copies of your books handy so you can show us a cover so we can know what that looks like?
I have to go in the other room and get
No,
them. I didn't think to
to
have
do
them.
that. Well,
Sade Renee.
I
yeah.
know. I was nervous. I haven't been
Yeah.
on an interview in a minute.
Okay. Well, we want our audience to know what your covers look like, so when they go to look search for them. So, if it only take a few seconds, feel free to bring as many as you want,
Okay,
so
we'll go
you can
grab it.
show us.
Right
Okay.
quick.
Okay. All right. So, she's going to go get her books, and I I read she was on the show Tia Rain, and she writes interracial romance, and I read one of hers. Uh, it was interesting the way she developed the characters, but um, people do fall into stereotypes for different when they meet people and assess people. Um, when I was my freshman year at Georgetown, my roommate was an Italian girl.
Okay.
And I asked her, what made this all pan was her father in the mafia. And
Well,
she,
oh,
I was 18, so I didn't know that it was. So anyway, she said, well, people always think that, but that's not true. That's what she said. So people can fall into stereotypes, when they meet people from different cultures. Now,
this,
I wouldn't ask that. If I would never ask that
I
question.
hope not, Gwen,
But I
because
was
see,
18. I didn't know. I have a filter, so I didn't know it was bad form.
Okay. We just
Okay.
moved,
All right.
so I had to find the box because my sister unpacked everything and didn't put anything in a place that I can easily find it. But
Okay.
can you see? I'll have to turn off the blur.
Let's
put it
see.
in front of
Put
you,
it closer
or
to
turn the
you.
blur off. Either way.
Yeah, there,
There
there.
you
Okay,
go.
yes. Okay.
I'll
Uh,
turn the
Okay.
blur.
Well, I gotta say, if you're gonna have a non-African American man on the cover, he can be good looking, and that man was good
yeah.
looking.
They have to be good. So
Yeah,
that's
it's
Dario.
helpful. It's helpful if they're attractive.
That's Dario.
Okay, and like a masculine, a rugged type of attract.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
We like them rugged.
Okay, so is that the most recent book?
That's the most recent one. I co-wrote it with my best friend Emil Preston in the Savage Bloodline world. And it's a series of all Black authors, all Black female characters, and then all the guys are in Italian mafia. About 40 books, I believe.
Did you say 40 books?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So how many books have you published so far? How many have you written and published so far?
Written, I think I just finished my 24th book.
All right.
And thank you.
Congratulations.
And I have published, I think I'm at 17 published because I unpublished some and some short stories that I haven't put out yet until I expand them.
Okay. And are you writing full time or?
No, I have a big girl job.
Okay.
I work in payroll in the nonprofit space.
Did you say a big girl job?
I did. I did. Because I'm a manager, so that's as big girl as you get.
Well, you're a what now?
I'm a manager in payroll.
In payroll.
Okay, yeah, that's a big girl job.
Big girl job. Oh, she said the Social Book Club said they just saw that book today on Kindle. You know how they give you recommendations, recommended books. So she just saw the book. So this is great. So now she has a reason to go buy it.
Yes.
So if you want to tell people, like, what's the big draw with your stories? Or with your writing style, what do you like to focus on? I know you do the interracial romance a lot, but is there a certain type of theme or trope that you use, or?
I write all the tropes. I call myself a trope whore because I like all the tropes. But I think the trope I've written the most and I seem to write the best are my second chances.
Okay.
Why? I don't know. I don't really believe in them in real life, so maybe it's all fantasy. I don't know. But second chance seems to be one I do well. My favorite trope is student teacher. I only have one in that space, though.
Student teacher, like the student falls in love with the teacher, or
but they're grown though. Everybody's over 18.
Okay. I just want to make that clear.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a trope.
There's a lot of tropes that you wouldn't. Then you have micro tropes where people look for just very specific things like touch her and die or he falls first. Those are more like things, but they call them micro tropes now.
Oh, okay. So, how do you like? Are there a lot of authors in your space, like your subcategory? I think you said you wrote something with another group of authors or some other authors. The people who write the interracial romance, I'm seeing it more and more. I know when we first started the show 5 years ago, I was seeing it occasionally. Now I see it.
It's a pretty prominent subgenre right about now. And I feel like it's growing every day because you have more people who either are writing for the lived experience or they just, for whatever reason, enjoy those stories.
I agree with you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, I was saying I agree with you. I think more readers want to read stories that reflect their lived experiences. Not everybody has fallen in love with a muscular chocolate dude that came over to fix the sink or something.
I mean, there's a readership for everything. I mean, there's a book out there where a girl fall in love with a door and it went viral. So there's
fall in love with the door. With the door.
Oh. I think it's called Hinged or something like that. It was very crazy. But they ate it up. They loved it down. There's a readership for everything. And I do think that over the last, when I started writing interracial romance in 2020, there was not as many interracial romance authors as there are now. And I would say over like the last 2, maybe 3 years or so, it kind of just boomed. The same with African American romance. When I started writing AA in 2015, well, I've been writing since before then, but when I published my first book in 2015, you weren't finding many. They were out there, but it wasn't as vast of a market with Black authors as it is today.
Right.
Yeah, romance is African American romance. This really has really blossomed to where
especially
now
in the last, I would say 5 years, it's really
yes,
turned a new leaf.
yes, it really has. So, if you wanted readers to know about how does Sade, how do you develop your stories? What do you look for when you're thinking about what to write next?
Sometimes it's a trope. Like I just have an idea of I want to write a student teacher or something another, or sometimes it's a lived experience, or something happened to me or something happened to someone I know, and I fictionalize it in a way. Often is music, where I'm listening to a song and it stems something, or TV shows. I find creative outlets in almost everything. So
Yeah.
walking down the street and someone can trip and fall, and I picture, and then what if it was a hot guy that just caught her, and then now here we go. And then now there's a whole story. And how I start, it's once I got the idea, I kind of go down this like ritualistic type of whatever you want to call it, where I'm looking for characters. Like I do a fan cast, so I'll go on Pinterest and try to find people who look similar to what I'm thinking about for the character. Usually it's a celebrity because I can easily like kind of picture that
That
way.
makes sense.
I pick songs. I create a playlist for almost every book that I write. I pick songs, and then I try to do like vision boards or mood boards, and then I'll sit down and plot, and then just kind of go from there.
That's interesting. You go on Pinterest and look for how characters might look. I haven't spent a lot of time on Pinterest, but people go on, it's interesting how different sites develop for different purposes,
Right.
and people use them like Etsy. Etsy is one of those that people use a lot.
Yeah, I go to Etsy for like clip art because I
Yeah,
design a lot of my own covers, so I go to them for clip art for my cartoons that I do.
yeah. I've
I like Etsy for clip art, but I've also been kind of making my own clip art with my AI platform too. I mean, I want to make sure that nobody else is using my stuff.
Yeah, you gotta protect yourself.
Hmm.
yeah. If you can either look totally different, you can want your work or whatever you're doing, your art, to be totally different, or the same as falling into a lane. You can kind of decide if you want which one of those you want to do.
Yeah, you gotta what is it called? You gotta carve out your lane, even if
Yeah,
there are some similarities. You gotta try to set yourself apart.
you do. So, are you working on? I thought I saw on your information when you're working on. You just got a with a traditional publisher. Is that true? Is that right? Tell us about that and what you have
So
coming up.
it's a something completely different. That's the one I just finished with the Native American character. I have never written any of these tropes, any of these anything before. This was all like fresh for me. So it took me about 5 months to get this done, but my editor loves it. So
Okay.
obviously did something right. But it's called On Thin Ice. It is a college age bully hockey wachu.
Wait a minute. A college age bully doing what?
Hockey wachu romance.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they're in
Do
college.
tell.
They're hockey players. It's supposed to be a bully romance. It's more light or diet gray bully than full on bully. And then why choose? So she got 3 boyfriends.
Three
Okay,
boyfriends.
so
Yeah.
your main
Okay.
character is a female with 3 boyfriends. Are they all different? Are they multicultural?
They are multicultural.
Okay.
When I get to read this.
It's not even up for pre-order yet. I just turned it into my editor a week and a half ago. And she just gave me my edits back tonight. So probably in April of next year.
Okay. Do you have a title or
Yes,
they have
On Thin Ice.
On Thin Ice?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the hockey
The hockey romance.
reference.
Hockey why choose.
Okay. Well,
I love it.
I do too. What's gonna be on the cover? Do you know yet? Have they done the cover yet?
I do, and they actually said I can share. So how can
Oh,
how can I
okay.
pull this off? Let me get my phone.
Well, we have share available on the Zoom. If you want to do it from your laptop, or if you want
I
to show it
can.
from your phone, you can do that too.
Let me go and pull it up. With my email. Because she did say that the cover will go into all the platforms next week, and I am welcome to share.
Okay, see, our
Yay.
is incredible.
I'm really excited about it. And it's under my dark romance pinning.
Oh, okay.
Because Sade, I write contemporary, multicultural, and then because not every reader likes dark. So I don't want to make a reader that doesn't like dark romance read. Okay, hold on. Obviously, I'm not tech savvy. Read something they don't want, so I separate them. Right, where's the shit? There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Oh,
Ooh, now that was worth the wait.
it was. That's really nice.
That's
Why do you
pretty.
think so?
She ruined their chance at a championship. Now they'll ruin her. Okay. And what is that
Ooh,
sticking up out of the? What is that right there sticking up out of
that's a
the?
hockey puck.
Yeah,
Is that? Oh, it's a puck. Okay. Okay.
broken
I wasn't
ice.
sure if it was something, but sticking up out of the ice or something. I like that. I like
And I
that.
love how titles look like part of the book cover. They don't look like just something you typed your name on. That
Right.
actually looks like the art. I love it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Now you're a USA Today bestselling author. Which
Yeah.
one of your books was on the USA Today bestsellers list?
There were anthologies. I did 4 anthologies that all hit the USA Today bestseller list.
Oh,
Oh,
wonderful.
So
okay.
not an individual title yet. We're gonna claim it with this one.
Okay. So you haven't made it with just your single book yet.
Not a single book yet, and it changed the rules because it was easy well, it wasn't easy. It takes a lot of hard work, but like we had a goal. We know how many sales we have to have by a certain time to hit it. And so, because I used to run box sets and I ran all 4 that hit the list. So I'm like, well, now I need to do that for my solo stuff. And then USA Today changed the requirement.
Rules.
So
Oh,
indies
okay.
won't really hit the list unless they're selling a lot in paperback. So hopefully with this, since this is going with a publisher, I'll have an opportunity to get one with my solo title, my solo book.
Well, I love the cover.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
me
did
too.
too.
Cover.
I screamed a little bit when she sent it to me.
Yeah, that looks really good. So when it comes out, I'll be on the lookout. I need to go when it's not available for pre-order yet, is it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet. I literally just turned it in, so we're going through edits, but I think we should have a pre-order information, if not next week, then the week after next.
Okay. Well, congratulations on this new journey that you're going on with traditional publishing. And you already have a lot of books under your belt. So you should be fine. You should be great with what you're doing with it.
I think so. I'm trying to be very optimistic about it. I think it's going to be a great opportunity. A lot of readers are going to go. I mean, this is for my dark romance, so a lot of readers are going to go obviously and read the dark romance. But when they realize that I write contemporary, I'm hoping they kind of make their way over to Sade.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. This is your first time, and we hope to have you back when you do some of your future work.
Okay.
Yes, please don't let it be the last time. I really enjoyed you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, that's the last guest on the show. So we're ending for tonight, and we will be back next Tuesday with another amazing episode of Black Authors Matter TV. The only thing I want to say, next week, we're going to be announcing the finalists for the Black Authors Matter Children's Book Awards I think it's 8 or 9 categories. So we're going to be doing that during the second half of the show. We'll have 2 guests at the beginning, and then the second half of the show, we'll be announcing the finalists. So if any of you are out there who are watching and you submitted your children's book, next Tuesday is when you find out if you made the finalist list. So that's it for us. We're out, and I'm Gwen Richardson signing off.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Lawson. Have a wonderful evening and a great week.
Thank you for tuning in, and join us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for another edition of Black Authors Matter TV.